Tsarukyan has won his second grappling match outside of the UFC. This is the second time he's been competing outside the UFC since his falling out with the promotion after the UFC 311 debacle. We're going to talk about how Arman Tsarukyan has been very delusional recently, turning down fights with the UFC, knowing that he's not in a position to pick and choose right now after he pissed off the promotion that bad earlier this year. We're also going to talk about Paddy Pimblett and how he's not obviously not pissing off the promotion, but he's being delusional. He is not, he is ducking, I should say not, but he's full out ducking Arman Tsarukyan. And so we're going to talk about that. First, let's look at the quote from Paddy Pimblett. No one cares about Arman. He's an absolute tool. My next opponent, more likely to be Justin Gaethje. Now, Arman Tsarukyan responded to this on Twitter. He said, "It was obvious you were talking trash with zero intention of backing it up. Your UFC career is built on handouts, hype, and shortcuts to the top." Now, obviously, a scathing response from Arman Tsarukyan, rightfully so, very annoyed with Paddy, considering Paddy talked all that shit, about Arman Tsarukyan shitting himself in preparation for UFC 311. Now, what I want to talk about with Paddy Pimblett's quote is, unless you're a Justin Gaethje glazer, which there are many of those still, there's no reason to be making Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett because that's a useless fight. I mean, the matchmaking has been so terrible recently. Justin Gaethje should be fighting Dustin Poirier for his retirement fight. Justin Gaethje, Poirier, they're 1-1 against each other. The trilogy fight would be perfect for a send-off for Dustin Poirier. And Justin Gaethje is almost as old. He's not going to be fighting that much longer either. So I don't know why people want to see or I shouldn't say why Paddy wants to be against Justin Gaethje. Now I know why, because it's a much easier opponent for him. Taking on Justin Gaethje, who, obviously, even with his wrestling background and everything, let's be honest, how many times has he used his wrestling that effectively? It's like even with his takedown defenses, it wasn't that impressive. He's been rear naked choked twice in two different title shots. He's been rear naked choked. So I don't see the point in giving Justin Gaethje the shot at Paddy Pimblett right now. I think the fight to make right now is Paddy Pimblett versus Arman Tsarukyan. But another fight that would have been good, but Arman turned it down, which we're going to talk about right now in this next clip, is Arman could have fought Mateus Gamrot at a main event in Abu Dhabi in July, but he turned it down. We're going to watch now. These are some of the same clips I did have in a previous video, so we won't play it all the way through, or we'll just try to skip around a bit maybe. Here it is.
Они мне предложили бой в Абу-Даби в июле, главный бой вечера, но я отказался из-за того, что они соперника предлагали того, с кем я не хотел драться, то есть ниже рейтингом. И я не видел смысла с ним драться только из-за денег. В ММА смысла нет мне драться. Мне надо драться минимум из топ-5 и 6. Просто так свое место не хочу давать. Это для них, можно сказать, неуважение в мою сторону, да? Почему они так себя повели, что давали мне такого соперника. Я достоин большего, я номер один. И да, я не говорю, дайте мне за титул, но дайте мне президентский бой.
Before I let this finish, as much as I agree with Art, this is one of those situations where it's like I kind of see where both parties are coming from. The UFC, the matchmakers being pissed off at Arman for ruining UFC 311, dropping out on less than 24 hours notice, ruining the whole main event practically. And then I see Arman's, perspective. He's still the number one contender. He doesn't want to fight that far down, but like I said earlier, he's not in the position to pick and choose right now. Let's continue.
Был бы, но если они дадут хорошего соперника из топ-5, или хотя бы уже кто-то из победной серии, кого они давали, он был на победной поражении серии, представляешь? Хотя бы Букера бы дали, так?
А кому предложили-то, если не секрет, так все вокруг да около ходил?
Гамрот.
Тут хотя бы есть смысл, получается.
В чем смысл?
Реванш.
Мне он не нужен, этот реванш. Если кому-то нужен, это ему нужен. Больше, чем мне. За что ему такой подарок?
All right. So he obviously believes that, Gamrot doesn't deserve the shot to fight up, and, he thinks he doesn't have to go fight that far down. But the truth is, it would be great to see a rematch. Now, Arman really would benefit from beating Gamrot because he lost to Gamrot, technically lost, even though me and many others think that he should have won the judge's decision. I mean, this is the verdict scorecard. I don't know how they scored it. The fourth round, I believe, is the round where Arman dropped Mateus Gamrot. I believe it was with a spinning back fist, too. So I don't know how that fourth round was given to him. Other than that, it was like one of the most high-paced, high cardio, one of the most beautiful displays of mixed martial arts was Mateus Gamrot versus Arman Tsarukyan. Non-stop action, hard shots, both of them getting exhausted, but at the same time, neither of them getting tired or quitting. It was an amazing fight. Now, something really annoying about Arman turning down Mateus Gamrot and just, being really bratty and thinking he could pick and choose about his next match is that this contradicts what he was saying right after the UFC 311 debacle. This is a tweet from him. I agree with Dana White. Once my back heals, I'll be ready to prove I'm the true number one contender by taking on anyone they put in front of me. Now, in this video, we'll see that Dana is clearly pissed off. I mean, it's no secret now. We all know that Dana's mad at Arman, and we know that Arman and the UFC have an awful relationship right now. I mean, we see all these MMA YouTubers making videos. It's like, is Arman going to get cut from the UFC? Where is he going to be fighting? What's going to happen and all this? Let's play the clip.
Arman Tsarukyan, what do you do with him at this point? I mean, do you automatically rebook him in the next title fight? Do you go back to the drawing board?
No. Yeah, he's going back to the drawing board. I don't want anybody to ever fight hurt, ever. We've been in these positions before. Went down there with the doctor. Went down there with Heather from the PI, who is, you can ask any fighter or anybody else, she's the best in the world. And you miss opportunities sometimes, and he did. So we'll see how this plays out for him next year.
You feel like he could have competed? You feel like he could have competed tonight?
I have no idea. I don't know that. Only he knows that.
So, we hear, the little bit of disdain in Dana's voice, saying we'll see about next year and stuff. And yeah, he's going back to the drawing board. Clearly, yeah, he's not giving Arman an immediate rematch after ruining UFC at 311. Now, there are many speculations about what exactly happened for UFC 311. The official word is it was a back injury. But, if people forget, there was a lot of contradicting information during that time. First, there was Arman Tsarukyan's coach saying that he injured it during the last sparring session before UFC 311. And then, according to Arman Tsarukyan, he said he injured it while on a stationary bike. Both of those stories don't sound that believable. Arman's one of the most flexible fighters in the UFC, very explosive. I just don't see that as the cause. I think he might have missed weight massively, as we see this picture of him scarfing down Dave's Hot Chicken. There was another video of him scarfing down In-N-Out. Now, something I do want to say about all this, though, is that if Arman Tsarukyan does get cut from the UFC, I want Nina Drama cut too. I want her out. She provides nothing useful, nothing insightful. There is no difference between a Nina Drama interview and an interview conducted by Brett Okamoto, Michael Chiesa. There's no difference. Or Chelsea, it doesn't matter. Michael Bisping, you put anyone in there, it's going to be the same. It's boring. All right. Now, looking at the drawing board, looking at the UFC lightweight rankings, I truly believe that Paddy Pimblett and Arman Tsarukyan is the fight to make. Paddy Pimblett beating Michael Chandler in impressive fashion. Now, this is what's also annoying, is that if Paddy Pimblett was to take the fight, was to actually not duck Arman and actually want to take the fight and call him out and make this fight, it would for sure be his most impressive win if he were to beat Arman. It would for sure be his most impressive win in the UFC in his entire career, because I think Arman would beat him. I would like for Paddy to prove me wrong and take the fight and see what he can do. But, Yeah, beating a 38, almost 40-year-old Michael Chandler, who's been so inactive as he was because he was psychologically obsessed with Conor McGregor. Still is, by the way. He still hasn't recovered. He might have to. Michael Chandler's probably going to have to be institutionalized for his obsessions with Conor McGregor. Um, Anyway, yeah, I do believe Paddy Pimblett versus Arman is the fight to make. Now, Arman did something very, very dumb by turning down the Mateus Gamrot fight because from there he could have then been in the position to bargain and ask for a more top contender. And Arman Tsarukyan, let's be honest, he could beat a lot of these dudes. Like Justin Gaethje is not going to beat Arman Tsarukyan. I don't think he will. He's beaten Charles Oliveira before, so that would have been another potential thing after the Mateus Gamrot fight is to rematch Charles Oliveira, a guy he's beaten before. But the fight that makes the most sense would be Paddy Pimblett or Mateus Gamrot. Now, there's a lot of people who also think Dan Hooker, and that is a good matchup because Dan Hooker and Arman Tsarukyan have been beefing a lot on Twitter. I don't know if you guys have seen, but they hate each other, so that would be an interesting fight to make too. But in this time, since he's ducked Mateus Gamrot, and since Paddy Pimblett is ducking Arman too and wants to fight Justin Gaethje, I think now is the time to make Arman versus Paddy. You know, because in a way, it's still a punishment fight for Arman because he still has to fight down. And for Paddy, he gets to go fight up. So it works for both fighters and for both of their situations, in my opinion. Now, with Arman and Paddy, you can really have some fun marketing because both of them are going to trash talk. They both don't like each other. Now, I'm sorry for this jump scare. I'm sorry to put these two individuals on the screen, but I want to reference the format, the face-off format that DAZN does. This could be a great format to market the Arman Tsarukyan versus Paddy Pimblett fight. It would be, listen, if Dylan Dennis and Logan Paul could get, you know, with their dull, boring, non-existent personalities, terrible, childish trash talk, if they could, you know, have a viral video like this, imagine what Paddy and Arman can do. Two guys who genuinely dislike each other even more than these guys. Well, maybe not more than these guys. This was pretty for real. But definitely more smarter trash talking, more interesting trash talking, and a fight that's actually going to pay off, not whatever this bullshit was. I want you guys to tell me what you guys think. You know, do you think that Arman should fight Paddy? Do you think he should rematch with Gamrot? Do you have another fight in mind for him? And who do you think Paddy should take on? Do you think that Justin Gaethje is a good matchup for him next? Please tell me what you guys think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.